Hi, I'm Mr. Huber, and in this video we're going to talk about problem 5c. Now look, problem 5c. That's f of x is equal to minus x minus 5 squared. Okay, so let's plug in some numbers, x and f of x, and please let's apply some of the things we learned in exercise 5a and b. Look, when you plug in 5, so let's start at 5, maybe here, 5. When you plug in 5, this will be 0. And 0 squared will be 0. So f of 5 is minus 5 minus 5 squared. So it will be 0. And a minus in front of it doesn't change anything, so it will be 0. So let's go to 4. And then 3, and then 2, and here 6, 7, 8. Okay, now let's plug in 4. F of 4 is minus 4 minus 5 squared. So it will be minus 1 squared. So this will be 1, and a minus in front of it, so it will be minus 1. F of 3. So that's minus 3 minus 5 squared. So it will be minus 2 squared. This will be 4. And a minus in front of it, it will be minus 4. I think you already know what's happening. So f of 2 is minus 2 minus 5 squared. So this will be minus 3 squared, so it will be 9 and a minus in front of it, so minus 9. I think you recognize these numbers because when you look at the original SAT parabola, these are exactly the numbers. 0, minus 1, minus 4, minus 9. Okay? Now let's carry on. F of 6, so that's minus 6 minus 5 squared. Now this is going to be 1. So it's minus, and then the 1 squared. You don't need these brackets, but well, I'm going to write them in order to make sure that you see the minus is in front of it. So it will be 1, and a minus in front of it, so minus 1. Then f of 7, that's minus 7 minus 5 squared. So it will be minus 2 squared, which is 4, and then a minus in front of it, minus 4. And let's do the last one. F of 8, so that's minus 8 minus 5 squared. That will be minus 3 squared, which is minus 9. So let's start here and draw it. Okay. And you see, it's in fact the same graph as the original SAT parabola. Same graph, the same numbers, but well, it's been translated to the right. So now look, you have a minus in front of your brackets, but you have x minus 5 in here. So it will be shifted to the right. It will be translated to the right. It will be translated horizontally by 5 units. Okay. But it's a SAT parabola. And now you can argue the same way as before, because it will always be negative. This thing will always be negative because you square something which is always positive, and then you put a minus in front of it. So it will necessarily always be negative. So what's the highest possible point we can get? That's minus 0 or 0, because this will always be positive here, and a minus, so it will always be negative. And what's the largest number you can get? Is 0. Well, that's positive and negative at the same time, if you want. Okay, so the highest point is at 5. So it's just a SAT parabola which has been translated to the right by 5 units. Okay, And you can clearly see it's the same numbers. And it's no vertical stretch or shrink. If you put a number in front of it, for example, a 2, if you put a 2 in front of it, you would multiply everything by 2 and it would be stretched vertically. If you put a 1/2 in front of it, everything would be halved, divided by 2, and it would be a vertical shrink. Okay, so I hope it wasn't too difficult. See you in the next one.